new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.
10 days ago, these two teams shared a T20 record 549 runs between them, with SRH's 287 trumping RCB's 262. What can we expect now with a free-falling RCB meeting a free-scoring SRH? Let's find out on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout, where we have Mitch McClenaghan and Varun Aaron for company. Generally, if you as a bowling side have conceded 287 to a team, you probably don't want to see them for a year. But as luck would have it for RCB, 10 days later, here they meet them again.
Yeah, I mean, if you were SRH, you wouldn't want to see RCB as well because they almost chased it down. Not chased it down, but they came pretty close. Saying which, RCB have been struggling ever since. Even before that, they were struggling. But this is a game which is a must-win. If they lose this one, they're definitely out of the tournament. I mean, there's just a small glimmer of a mathematical hope at the moment. But that depends on the other teams, and the other teams are playing really well. So, I mean, it's just one of those matches where RCB cannot lose.
Loyalty is such a beautiful thing. You can see
an
ex-RCB player there.
I was going to say that. There's a bit of love story there,
because, man, I feel for the RCB fans, because the last thing they would want to hear is that, you know what, this team cannot win. I'm sure RCB can win. They have a good batting lineup, but their bowling has been under the pump a lot this year.
Well, I mean, they should have won the last game against KKR.
Yeah.
That was astonishing. How they got so close to such a good total as well from KKR. So, look, they've shown it against SRH. They've shown it against KKR that they can score runs against the good sides. And I don't mind the fact that they chose to chase last game. It was good to see Will Jacks get some runs. It's an interesting one, isn't it? It's you look at this game and yes, they've got a small glimmer of hope, but I'd like to see them be a little bit brave in terms of switching up the top three when it comes to. I'd like to see Will Jacks open. We don't know how long Faf is going to play as this is last year at the IPL. You want to look towards next year. Who do you look at retaining if the retentions are going to be more? And you've got to look at retaining at least one overseas player. Will Jacks is right up there as a retention option for me, and I'd like to see him in his number one spot, which is opening innings. He can do some serious damage at the top, just like we've seen from Phil Salt. They've lit it up for England over the last couple of years. I'd like to see him at opening with Virat and then drop Faf to 3 and see if that's a combination they want to take into the next cycle.
The batting is one bit of it, but RCB will know that if they have to start raking up some wins, the bowling has to improve. It's a question that perhaps every team in the league is wanting answers to at the moment, seeing the way Sunrisers are going about things. How do you bowl to such a rampaging unit?
You have to get wickets, because if you're not getting wickets versus somebody like SRH, they're going to put you under the pump and they're going to score a lot of runs. The only way you can get wickets is to allow the ball to swing. Yes, Dayal has been swinging the ball both ways. Siraj can again swing the ball. I feel Siraj, an in-form Siraj is a perfect bowler to get Abhishek Sharma and Travis Head out. But I just hope he doesn't start bowling in swing to them, because they both struggle with the ball, pitching on off stump and moving away. Siraj does that naturally. This year, for some reason, he's bowling more away swingers for him than in-swingers, and the in-swing is his natural delivery. So I would love to see Siraj at his best tomorrow, getting both batsmen out, and yes, they are to swing the ball up front.
Well, the person who does that the best is Lockie Ferguson. So he's a genuine outswing bowler, and to Travis Head, like you say, that is a dangerous ball going away, but it's got to be from outside leg first and finishing it on the stumps, and that fraction fuller, because what we've noticed throughout this tournament is that anything outside the stumps and above the stumps, he's been able to deposit 360. So you just got to be a little bit more tactically aware. Who's your best weapon? Siraj, yes, I think Siraj could be a really good weapon. I'd hold fire on Yash Dayal because I just think he may give a little bit of width unwittingly. But then Lockie Ferguson, I think, is a great option. We saw him being successful against him in the New Zealand series prior to the IPL, bowling from outside leg stump into leg stump on that fuller length. It was hard for Travis Head to get hold of.
But when you do look at that range of power play scores, and Sunrisers, my goodness, they are raising the roof on what can be done 4 times above 75, or only 125 in the last one. Does it become important to start considering those defensive lines and lengths as new ball bowlers?
Yeah, it does. And those defensive line and lengths are actually attacking to these guys. And they're actually attacking lines and lengths. You know, generally your attacking line and length is outside, you know, off stump or outside, but that's width to both of these guys. They demolish that kind of bowling that just, I'll run in, I'll hit a good length, and I'll see if there's some shape from 7 metres, and that's actually feeding into the way they like to play. So, yeah, defensively, you've just got to get your angles right. We saw Nokia bowl a couple of good deliveries, leg stump Yorkers or just outside leg stump, and Head was able to open the face on it, and the lines that they've got to get their backward point at is going to be critical as well. So you've just got to take a little bit more detail to the lines of the fielders that you have, particularly in the ring, to both of these guys, when you do bowl a good ball, that it doesn't become an easy boundary.
You have to look at that trade, though, and wonder how RCB feel about it. Because if you examine the holes we speak of in RCB's setup, we talk spin, we talk a lack of left-handed batters, and we talk a lack of lower middle order batters. Shahbaz Ahmed ticks all those boxes. They got Mayank Dagar in and have barely played him. Does it now look like a trade that wasn't so well advised?
I wouldn't really agree because his numbers weren't that great for RCB. I understand what you're saying, but they have 2 left-hand batsmen in Rawat and Lomror. Lomror did really well. He started really well for them, but again, when you chop and change players so much, you're putting them under pressure and not giving them that space and giving them that belief that, okay, you trust in them, and then that gives them the confidence to go out and perform in the game. So Anuj Rawat as well, he hasn't played a single game after he didn't do well for a couple of games. So you have 2 really powerful left-hand batsmen who need a bit of grooming. They're young, they haven't played that much. They need grooming, they need that added confidence. And Mayank Dagar obviously came in for him. Mayank Dagar had a couple of off games. Karan Sharma has been there, not been playing. So I feel the bigger conversation is RCB have really chopped and changed whoever they have. If they had actually stuck with a given few players from the first till the 6th game at least, then we could have seen a better sample size to actually make a comment.
Yeah.
But Shahbaz Ahmed really wasn't doing much for RCB when they had to let him go.
Yeah, well, exactly. It comes back to that, right? So RCB's, what they believe are their strength, they weren't to know that they were going to get off to such a poor start to the season with the bat. So Shahbaz was more of a batting spinner. They needed a genuine spinner because they weren't concerned about their batting. So that's why they were probably pretty happy with the trade initially for Dagar, because out of Lomror, Shahbaz and Dagar would be the more conventional left-arm spinner, Absolutely. The better prospect as that finger spinner. So I think they would have been happy, but as soon as your batting starts to fail, which it did at the start of the season, that's when they were like, oh, actually, maybe we would have liked to have Shahbaz here. Correct. Because he could offer that and hit at the end as he's doing for SRH.
And you must understand, they've done this trade on the back of the domestic season, and Dagar had a really good domestic season.
Yeah. Conversely, Shahbaz is part of a Sunrisers storyline which is going a little under the radar. You look at the performances of their domestic batters in the playing 11, and Shahbaz, Abdul Samad, Abhishek Sharma, of course, and Nitish Reddy have all made steady, handful contributions. And it just underlines how these domestic batters have performed, perhaps only adds to the confidence of a setup to be able to bat in the manner that Sunrisers are looking to bat.
Absolutely. You're bang on. The only person who hasn't really fired is Adam Markram. And then when everyone else is contributing, you know he's only one performance away from having a contribution. So, you know, that all their batting boxes have ticked, particularly after that last game. The questions were around, you know, what if the tail does get exposed? And yep, they got exposed early that game in Delhi. Yes, there was a bit of momentum there, so they could have gone whoosh. But in another game, when they are under pressure and they do need to start hitting towards the end to get them to a total, that outing against Delhi will give them a lot of confidence. So from a batting side, what Shahbaz has done to give the top order that confidence is great. Samad's come in and had a couple of impacting innings, and Nitish Reddy, I think he looks the goods. He looks very, very good. Striking was superb again. So all the batting boxes are ticked.
Absolutely.
Let's get to predictions. Are you giving RCB a chance?
I am going to give them a chance.
I'm going to have to side with SRH. They've been too strong.
Let's go the other prediction as well. If SRH do bat first, will Travis Head and company come good to their promise of getting to 300?
Yeah, good question. No, they won't this time round. They'll stumble through to 250.
Stumbling takes you to 250. What times we live in.
Okay, are
Sunrisers.
these predictions for points?
No,
No,
not
no,
everything
that
is for
fine.
the impact
That's
of
fine.
points.
That's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see what we have in store. Sunrisers have won 4 in a row. RCB have lost 6 on the bounce. Will things change? Be sure to catch the build-up to the game just before toss time on Thursday evening on Maruti Suzuki Arena. Presents ESPN Cricinfo Timeout.
Because this
All new hot and techy Brezza, the Citybird SUV.